And we are back. Hello, everyone. This is Jim Grisanzio from Oracle Code in Bangalore. And this is the final interview of the day, which is really good because I have very little voice left. So welcome, Vani.
Hi, Jack.
I'm here with Vani, the CEO of Knomics. And Vani, you were the keynote speaker just a little bit earlier at Oracle Code's Women in Technology event. Just a few minutes ago it ended. So
Yep.
what I'd like to do is to have a conversation with you about women in technology here in India, but also globally as well, if you can offer some commentary on that. But first, can you give me a little sense of what the event was that you just keynoted, downstairs? What was some of the topics of discussion? What did you guys talk about?
Sure. So the event is on women leadership and bringing some role models and inspiring the young women who are in the corporate world, mainly from the technology background, to aspire for bigger roles and chalk out a career for them, and also guide them in how to balance their life, because that's very important for a woman in India particularly. So we spoke about the balance for better, and we just completed the International Women's Day celebration. So we touched based on the context of the UN theme for this International Women's Day. That's think equal, build smarter, and innovate for change, and connected it to balancing for better world. So that's what we spoke about, and of course we did speak about some of the tricks to handle that, handle the world, handle the male counterparts, and handle the competition. We spoke about everything, nothing bad.
Okay, good. So when I come to this conference, so there was around 1,000 or so people here today. I did see a fair amount of young women here. I don't know the exact numbers. When I come to India for various conferences, I do see them. They are clearly the minority in terms of the totality of the groups that I end up interacting with. But they're clearly here. So can you describe a little bit what is the situation in India in terms of percentages? You don't have to be exact or anything, but just in terms of the general trends about women in technology here. We were talking a little bit earlier about some of these things about different cities versus rural areas
Sure.
and different age groups, because it's all a different story as you go through.
Sure. So the diversity issue is a global issue where a lot of organizations are focusing, and many countries and government is also focusing on bringing the balance in the work area, and making women participative and being inclusive. And India is in a similar way. What we see in the current decade is that we see a lot of girls being enrolled in schools. So education is a basis for any career, or bringing diversity. So that increase enrollment of girls in educational institutions has brought up an increase in women in technology as such, and women workforce. So we also see the diversity in a different range. If you look at cities like Bangalore, which is a hub for the IT, and any engineer lands up in Bangalore, no exception for women. Any woman engineer also lands up in Bangalore. So we see that increasing, but definitely not somewhere into the 50-50 balance kind of a thing. So it's still the common problems that every woman is balancing. So we see a good amount of women at work, and also in the startup ecosystem in Bangalore, but we don't see the same ratio in the other cities. And of course we do work in tier 2 and tier 3 locations as well. So there are cultural and social hurdles, but it's slowly improving.
Okay. What are some of the things that young women can do to so if they're interested in technology as a little kid, okay, what's some of the things they can do? Some of the suggestions that they can do to get more involved.
So first and foremost, they need to get the equal opportunity to learn. So technology or engineering is not just for defined gender or the different categories. So they need to get an opportunity to learn technology and get an exposure, for the niche developments that is happening, and of course the access to digital. That's one of the medium that can penetrate across India to bring knowledge to their near. That's one of the area we are actually working. So we actually take knowledge platform, aggregate and curate the content which is very relevant for the audience in the tier 2, tier 3, where the girls can't go out to premier institutions, but definitely they can learn technology, and coding has no restrictions. Coding doesn't ask for a certificate. If you know coding, you learn it, you're there.
Right.
So that's what we try and do it. So there are a lot of initiatives that is happening. And another challenge that is peculiar to India is we speak a lot of languages. So we speak Kannada here, and of course Hindi also works, but just 50 kilometers down we speak Tamil, and there are 22 official languages.
Wow.
And more than 50% of our population actually learns in the regional language as well. So when it comes to education and knowledge, we need to bridge that gap as well. So we try to bring content which is understandable by them and in their own language. So language is no barrier for knowledge. So
right.
That's one of the key hurdle which we're trying to overcome. This has two angles. One is education, the other one is the diversity. So once we give the education and bring them to a level playing field to get an equal opportunity, then starts another journey, how to balance the work life, how to balance your own emotions and stick on there through your sustenance period, and then reach out for a better career.
Right. So this is some of what we were talking about earlier about different ages.
Yep.
Different ranges in the ages, because it's a fairly significant change. Well, everyone's life changes as you go.
Absolutely.
But this is more of a complex change because it directly affects employment.
Yep. So one point I would like to add here is on the technology and innovation. Definitely technology is the future, and we are innovating for bigger change. The role of a woman in being part of decisive roles,
part of
decisive decision-making roles. Okay, her ideas and experiences contributing to the design and implementation of the product, which is shaping up our future societies. So that's going to be very critical. So we don't want just the men designing the future. We want the women to be part of that design and expressing her ideas and experiences to build that or shape that future for all of us.
Right. Do you have a sense of how the situation in India is either consistent or inconsistent with other countries around the world? In other words, how is it different in America versus Europe versus maybe China versus India? Are these things, is this situation truly unique in each country, or what are some of the similarities?
I think the problems are pretty much same problems across, whether it is America or China or India or Japan. The problems are same. Probably the ratio of those problems are different between Asian countries and the Western countries. Because culturally they are different. Right. So woman plays a different role here, and there the culture is different. So the ratios may be different, but the problems are same. All of them go through the same thing. Maybe in terms of the country's development, so that plays a key role, in defining the depth of those problems. But I think the problems are same.
Right. You speak very authoritatively on this. I'm wondering, has this always been your passion?
Oh, Yes, so I have been, an accountant by education, and I was into information security, and I was a CFO of a company, and then I became the CEO of the company. So in that journey of 15 years in the corporate and the founding team of established companies, I get to learn more about the HR, the workforce, the
Right.
diversity. There's a lot of learning into that, and then running companies as an entrepreneur and handling the workforce directly, I could sense the feeling, and I'm part of the same tribe. So yeah, I could connect with that, the aspirations and dreams, and how these can be balanced.
Right. So are you optimistic for the future?
Definitely.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the difference which I feel between, I'm not sure, I can't talk on the West, but I can talk about India, is women are pretty strong and determined. It's just their determination there. And they are very good in bringing consensus. So if they have a goal, they bring a consensus at home. So I have a goal and they seek support. So that's something which I see happening in India, that they take the consensus, they take the support system into consideration so that they can achieve.
Right. I was very interested. I went to Indonesia about 10 years ago for a project I used to work on. I was doing a talk at a university, and had never been to Indonesia before. Didn't really understand the culture, and it's an enormous number of young women in that audience. So they were all young because I was at a university, you know. And after I was finished, they came right up and they're asking questions, and it's like I couldn't answer most of them because these were all engineering students, right?
Yeah.
And but it was really interesting to see, and I got some great photographs of them, from 10 years. And I look at the images now, and I just oftentimes wonder where they are now, because they were 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, I think women have always played a substantial role, whether it is a family's economy or they've always worked. It's not that they've not worked.
Right.
They have worked in an unorganized way and in an unorganized sector. Now, when we look at the organized sector, structurally, the education and then grooming and then level playing field and the career path and the balancing and reach to the top. So this is happening now. So that's the difference that we see.
I'm interested to, I don't know if this is an issue or not, but I've always been interested. Do young women versus young men code in the same way? In other words, is there a different thought process? So do they think about problems in the same way? And do they come to a solution in this? I mean, they might end up in the same solution, but is it a similar path?
I think everybody understands men and women are differently wired. So solutions are also differently designed. That's possibly one of the reasons that across the globe they seek for boardroom balance, having women on the board and balancing the gender to give a very holistic decision to any solution. So yes, the way they look at the solution is the problem is slightly different. They just don't look at this problem. That's the way we are wired. So they see it like this. Whether it's a problem you would have faced at home, so it's never this problem. We see holistically. So when the solution comes out, it's probably considered all the exceptions. So we think of the unexpected and consider that as one of the variants in the problem, so that the solution is covering most of it.
Interesting. So does that cause any issues as these women are working in various companies in terms of interacting with men? Like if you're working on a team, and you have men and women working on a team, they might be thinking about a problem in a slightly different way. To me, that's an advantage, because you would be able to look at the problem from multiple directions.
There is, I wouldn't say conflict. There is a healthy discussions that happen. The point is that women quit. At some stage they quit. So some of the priorities takes over. But the guys probably will work out on the code for the whole night.
Right.
But the woman has something else to do, so she just quits.
Right.
At some stage she quits. So that's something which is, that's where the work-life balance plays a lot of support. We need better solutions. We need an inclusive solution. Definitely the differently wired have to contribute. But then there's different issues to be addressed. So if that is balanced, probably there's going to be a healthy and powerful solution coming out.
Right. Interesting. Well, I wish you the best of luck in these programs.
Thank you.
I have a daughter, she's 14. She'll be 14 in a couple of weeks in Japan. And, who knows what the future will bring for her, right?
She will do wonders. So that's the future for girls.
Yep.
So wish all the girls in technology a wonderful and better future for the world.
So where could young women go for more information, to find you or to find your programs, that, so they can
they can connect me in the social media. So Kalaivani Chittaranjan, whether LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter.
Okay.
So they can find me,
and
or
we'll
they
have
can
the
just
link in this.
Yeah,
in this
they can
video.
just Google my name, so they'll find me.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll get some traffic your way. And Vani, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And I actually lied. We have one more interview, and maybe even two more interviews as the sun sets here in Bangalore. So stay tuned. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.